Welcome everybody to look at a brand new box set from Eureka. Now this is a Masters of Cinema box set and it is Wrack and Ruin, the Rubble film of DEFA. So DEFA was a German film company, most prominent in the 40s, 50s and 60s. And yeah, this is the fourth German focused box set from Eureka so far this year. And yeah, I've been really looking forward to it. So we'll take a quick look at the films inside and the physical extras in terms of the booklet. So yeah, I really like the hard box design that it's got going on. So yeah, Rubble films, or I think they were called Trummer films or something like that in German. Basically, are films that were set in the immediate aftermath of World War II. So that's why they're called like Rubble films, because they're generally set in the destruction and, quite frankly, death that came about or after World War II. Now, there is one film in here that's actually set during World War II, but for the most part, they are set after the fact. And yeah, that's a rear artwork of the box as well. And we've got the side as well, which yeah, the first film and the only one that has a disc of its own, as there are 5 films here across 3 discs, is The Murderers Are Among Us. So this was actually the first film of its type in this genre. So that's why it probably does have the disc to itself. And yeah, it's from 1946, or maybe 1945. It says 1945 on here from Eureka, but I've seen 1946, so it could be either way, to be honest. But yeah, no reversible artwork on this one because obviously we only have the one film. But yeah, a bunch of extras on there that we'll go through when we talk about the film itself, when I eventually get around to seeing it. But yeah, not seen any of these films before. It's not a genre of film that I have heard of before, although I imagine I have seen some films that could be considered to be part of that genre, particularly UK films that are set in the likes of London in the late 40s, early 50s. Seen plenty of films from that period that have had parts of London still looking like a complete wasteland with a great deal of destruction still around. Second film is Somewhere in Berlin, and that shares a disc with the film Police Raid, which is here. And they're both on the disc there. So yeah, all of these were released between 1945, 1946 and 1948. The first film clocks in at 84 minutes long, Somewhere in Berlin in 83 minutes long. So that's the shortest of the 5. And then Police Raid clocks in at 94 minutes long. And then on the third and final disc, we have Marriage in the Shadows, which is the one film that is actually set during World War II. And then fifth and final film is The Blum Affair. And on this disc here. So yeah, they do sound like interesting films, to be honest, especially since they are capturing a moment in time that wasn't all that prevalent for that long, because obviously the likes of Germany and such were really aching to get their country back on the mend. So they only had a few years where they were in this kind of desolate wasteland of, likes of Berlin being completely destroyed and such. So yeah, it's really is capturing a moment in time that you really couldn't really do all that much nowadays, not without certainly feeling without lacking the authenticity, because it does really feel like yeah, they're going to be capturing the authenticity of these kind of films due to the fact they are set in the actual rubble rather than sets and CGI or anything like that. So yeah, we do have a booklet with this release as well, which does have some shots from one of the films, which, as you can see, there is quite a lot of destruction there, which clearly hasn't been made for the film. It is just the aftermath of World War II, and there's even more on the back there. So yeah, you can see why films like this would be effective, based around the fact that they do have the production value of, literally just the aftermath of a war behind them. And in the booklet, we've got film credits for all 5 films, and then we've got 0 Hour, The Murderers Are Among Us by Tim Bergfelder. That film also had a shorter title in the US. The Murderers Are Among Us is a UK title. The US title was Murderers Among Us. And then we have Children of the Ruins, Somewhere in Berlin by Daniel Jonah Wolpert. Then we have Black Markets, Police Raid by Brad Prager. Then Anti-Semitism, Voyeurism, and Victimhood, The Marriage in the Shadows, and The Blum Affair by Mariana Ivanova. And then we have viewing notes and release credits as well. So these have never had a English subtitled Blu-ray release before. I imagine they've been released in the likes of Germany in the past, but yeah, never had a Blu-ray release over here in the likes of the UK. So inside we have viewing notes. So the films in this set are presented in the 1:37:1 aspect ratio, and yeah, I imagine the film quality is as good as it can be. I very much doubt, like the film stock was a high priority resource in the aftermath of World War II. So I imagine they got their hands on whatever was available at the time. But these do seem to have had some work done to them as far as what it says on the extras, which what does it say? Pretty sure it said something about restoration. Maybe I'm misremembering. I swear it said something about how they've been restored. But then again, I might be just misremembering it. But regardless, Eureka have always done a really good job with these Blu-ray box sets, especially with films that are a lot lesser known. We only have to look at the 3 previous box sets, for instance, which I don't think had been touched by anyone beforehand, and they were obviously these. So yeah, I really enjoyed most of the films within these 3 box sets. So I have high expectations that this latest box set is going to be as good as, if not better. So yeah, but regardless, really looking forward to seeing all 5 of them, and I will be giving an individual review for each of the films. And yeah, hopefully I have seen stuff from the directors or actors before, because then it will give me some kind of reference to go against. But if I haven't, then that just means that I've got plenty of other films to look forward to in the future. So there are also shots in this booklet of the films, but I don't know whether or not this is going to be spoilers or not. That's from Murderers Are Among Us. And then Somewhere in Berlin, which, based on that, if it is, based around the lives of children and such, does kind of remind me of the kind of like the kitchen sink dramas of the 50s and 60s that were prominent in the UK. And then Police Raid. I'd be surprised if there isn't any crossover between these films and the previous German box sets that I've seen before in terms of actors. I doubt very much it's in terms of directors, because I'm not recognising any of their names, but that's Marriage in the Shadows. And finally, The Blum Affair. So yeah, going to be an interesting watch through these. This is why I get these kind of box sets from the likes of Eureka, is because they are featuring films that I haven't seen before at all. 3 previous box sets, I hadn't seen any of the films before, and that's much the case with this one. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see all of the films and talk about them with you. So yeah, but if you have got this box set, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, and if obviously you've seen any of the films, I'd like to hear your thoughts on them as well. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.